My interest in the olden days of ISKCON began back in 2005 when I was serving as a pujari in the Hawaii temple. At that time, my roommate was a brahmachari. He was a Rameshwara disciple who was very well versed in the history of ISKCON because he had lived and served during the late 70s. In fact, he was in LA when Rameshwara fell down, and the devotees, his disciples, destroyed his elevated Vyasasan, that big old Vyasasan. I'm pretty sure the disciples threw it off of a roof and the impact destroyed it. For those of you unaware, in the olden days of ISKCON, the gurus had ginormous asanas, and most of them were eventually destroyed. So, in 2005, by some random providence, I was roommates with this brahmachari, and he was an unsolicited walking encyclopedia of ISKCON's history, just constant talking about it. We remained roommates for 2 years, after which I became very well versed in the subject, and I continued researching for 10 years following that. This brings us to today. I'm creating a YouTube series for the younger generation who have had very little opportunity to enter into the subject of the Zonal Acharya era. Today's video is going to give an introduction to the subject, and subsequent videos in the series will actually discuss the 11 individual gurus and their confirmed histories. So without further ado, let's begin. ISKCON's history has 3 distinct periods of initiation. The first period took place when Srila Prabhupada was still on the planet. So the first period, which we will refer to as the golden days of ISKCON, lasted from 1965 until November 77, when Srila Prabhupada entered Samadhi. Now technically, Prabhupada did initiate before he came to America. There was one male Indian disciple named Acharya Prabhaskar, but he is the exception. For our purposes, the golden age of ISKCON lasted from 1965 until November 1977. Now let's say for a moment that a devotee wants to research that original period. Are there any reference materials endorsed by ISKCON? Yes, absolutely. Off the top of my head, I can name 3. The Prabhupada Lilamrita by Satsvarup Das Goswami, the Transcendental Diary by Hari Sari Prabhu, and What is the Difficulty by His Grace Shrutikirti Prabhu. In one moment, any seasoned member of ISKCON could name these books. Now, let's suppose you have a new devotee about to receive initiation next month. Haribol. Before the ceremony, this devotee, let's call her Bhaktin Stacy, would like to study ISKCON history. And Stacy asks, Prabhu, can you recommend a book about ISKCON in the 80s?